You want to get on the Dill?
Oh yeah. Should I put a shirt on?
No, just be organic, buddy.
So should I take my shorts off too?
I don't put shorts on. I would leave our
I'm
clothes on.
joking. Be organic.
Not that organic. You're not in this. You gotta scoot over. We gotta figure this out.
Over there?
Here we go. Here we go.
There we go.
Okay, so check it out. So I was 16 years old, 17 years old, lived with my mom, and like I moved back to my mom's house because they had drugs there, so I was able to stay there. Moved to my grandpa's when I was 14. But then at 16, my mom moved to Lemon Grove, and they had like an apartment downstairs. There's a 3-story house, the apartment downstairs, all my apartment. That she taught me to move back in with her just so I could be there. Mainly because her and my stepdad would leave for 4 or 5 days at a time.
Yeah.
And I'd be there with my sisters.
Yeah.
And I'd drive them to school, all these things. So I've been up for 2 weeks for Jeremiah Davis's birthday.
Yeah.
Jeremiah Davis was wondering on your birthday. He's like, you don't want to go on a 2-weeker. He says a 2-weeker. So I'm like, all right, boys, we can do this. And when I would do 2-weekers, I would get so shredded that when I'd walk into a room, like I would just be like the 17-year-old Brad Pitt of the party in Granite Hills. Like, just me and Jeremiah was ripped. I was ripped. Everyone wanted to talk to us at the party. So it worked. Yeah. So I'm like, I'll do 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because I get more shredded. Yeah. You know?
I'm in.
Taking more things apart at the house so they get more shredded. So anyways, over 2 weeks, we go and play a softball game. And my buddy Jake goes. Jake was like this lumberjack guy. And we're playing and on Greenfield, Alcoa Junior High, where Joey Kennedy played. Joey Kennedy's major league ball player who actually passed away, I think. But you were sitting there, right? Where I'm playing shortstop, running back. I just fly back for a ball. Been up for 2 weeks. Dive back, and this dude Jake comes flying in, blasts me in my head, dude. Done.
I'll blast you.
I remember the play itself. I remember running back. I remember going for the ball, knocked out, and so I was asleep for 4 days in the hospital.
No
Was
way.
in a coma, right? Because I hadn't slept in 2 weeks. So it was part of coma, part just like drug friggin' non-sleep, right? Just down. Yeah. So but this was the time. This is that was the second to last time I ever did meth.
Yeah.
So was I 16 or was I 17? I might have been 17 at that point. I didn't even 18, dude. It was somewhere in that whole ball game. It was like from 16 to 19, I did meth and coke.
I thought you said it was softball.
I was playing softball, but those are the ages, 16, 19. But it was a practice for a tournament. We went and practiced on a Saturday.
You were playing football?
It was softball.
You said you were playing running back.
I did say that, but shortstop. I said shortstop. We can rewind this. I said shortstop. I was running back. I was playing shortstop. I was running back. So it was like a fly ball. So I turned around, ran this way like this to left field. And when I was 17, I was Kelly League.
Yeah.
Like when I played softball, I played shortstop, and I also played second base, also played third base because the guys were as good. Like I said, no. Ball's going to second, I would run in front of him and catch it because he kept missing it.
Yeah.
So like you can't catch the ball, and if a ball is flying in the outfield, I'm gonna go catch it. I'm more likely to catch it than that guy that can catch it.
Yeah.
At least in my mind. So I run back, dude. I freaking knockout. 4 or 5 days ago, my grandpa's there. I wake up, never my grandpa, dude. Like, they didn't know what was going on. I don't know if they told him that I was on drugs or not, but in 4 days, I was in a coma. I go back to the house. I'm back at my grandpa's house, and he buys me like a $6 burger. Or supercharges. I like 2 bites, and I sleep for another day. Then I wake up. Been like, now it's 5, 6 days. Where do I go? I go right. I call freaking Jeremiah Davis. Dude, let's go. Boys are back, dude. You know what I mean? I don't know what's happened. It's been 5 days. Boys are back. I'm ready to go. It was what me and Jeremiah did. We do 7 days on, 7 days off. So,
Firefighters.
So we go from Friday to Friday, dude. Friday we just sparked out.
Yeah.
No sleep, just drugs, lift weights in the sun in the backyard, the whole 9 yards, dude. Lifting weights, doing meth, and then just like talking about Jesus. Swear to God, dude. And Jeremiah, every 3 or 4 days, he'd be like, I believe Joseph Smith. Dude. he would say with everything inside of him, he would say, listen, dude, he was dating a cute little Mormon. So he'd be like, she showed me this in the book, man, and I'm thinking it's true. And I'm like, dude, it's not true. And I tell him the whole thing. And after about 4 hours of convincing him, he'd be like, all right. And then it's like 3 a.m. He started getting hungry, and he would yell, Wilma! His grandma, dude. He would just yell Wilma top of his lungs. She was deaf, right? That was the inside joke. No one knew when they came over. All our friends would come over and he'd scream, Wilma, give me some goddamn food. And she'd be like, oh, Jeremiah. Oh, Jeremiah. Because you could barely hear him because she's deaf. But we're dying in this house, dude.
Because that's the only way she can hear.
Right. So, anyways, we go. So from there, remember Lisa? We saw her yesterday at Debbie's. At the she was the one hugging me. She was like, she called me Schmo.
Schmo.
Yeah. So she was Debbie's niece or Debbie's cousin, Lisa.
The one who
Almond.
grew up with your mom?
Yeah, she grew up with
Okay.
my mom.
Oh,
So
really?
so me and Jeremiah go to Mike Denton's house. We knew who Mike Denton was. Mike Denton was like dating Lisa or something like that. Mike Denton ended up being with my mom for a while.
Yeah.
Like drug circle
Oh
people.
my God.
So we go there. Jeremiah freaking knew Mike, and that's when I run into Lisa. Oh, Lisa, that's Jeremiah. It's my mom's friend.
Yeah.
At this point, everyone was doing meth.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, well, I just want a little shiznit or whatever, you know. So I spark out, dude, and then like
Another 7?
that was like, so I just got out of this concussion, dude, right?
Yeah.
I do the line.
Yeah.
And then like because my brain was the way it was,
Yeah.
I like for the next 24 hours, like God's spirit came over me, and I could look inside of everybody's brain that I went to.
Yeah.
Like I went to Mike,
Yeah.
Jeremiah, Lisa, everybody, and I saw them like they were like this in their minds.
And this wasn't a side effect of the.
I think it was the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
They were like, I could see what they were thinking. Oh, I just need this
Yeah.
shit. Oh, I just need it. I just need it. I just need it.
Yeah.
I just need it. That's all I could see in my brain.
Yeah.
I could see the demonic like
Yeah.
oppression on their lives,
Yeah.
everyone around me. So like, and then my head hurt so bad, and I was like, it was like venom, dude. But like
Yeah.
coming out of me,
Yeah.
like the pain hurt so bad. And since I saw the way they all thought, that was the last time I did meth, dude.
Really? Wow.
That day, for the last time, I said I'm never doing that again because I
Whoa.
saw what it did to them, what it did to me, what it did to my mom, what it did to everybody around me. I saw the way they thought. God showed me that day after my 5-day concussion.
Oh, that's heavy, dude.
So that's the story, but
That was it for you, huh?
that was it, dude. And
Went out with a bang.
yeah, just like that.
That's pretty crazy
I
that
could
you
see
did.
the way they thought. So Jeremiah, he wrote me a letter. He was in jail, and he wrote me a letter about how like I was the one who made it out. That I had God's call on my life. That day he saw like something different in me,
Yeah.
and it's like that day you just stopped,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
never went back. And he was like 26, 27. He's like, and I can't stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
For whatever reason, I can't stop. He's like, I
Mhm.
tried. He's like, you're the one that could stop. You had the blessing. God made it to where you could stop. He couldn't stop.
That's so
Then
heavy.
a couple of years later, he like after maybe a year later, after I get a letter in the mail, I wake up in the morning, I get a call from Mike Peters. Hey, did you see the news? And turn the news on. It's sort of about Jeremiah getting blasted by the cops. He dresses up in full. He was like a Coast Guard reserve at the time. Dressed up in full get-up. So wrote a note to his mom. Said some things like, I'm sorry about how I've been. I can't kick the shit. He called it. Like he couldn't kick it. He could not get off it. And then he did more things.
Man.
Then he runs up Hammershaw Boulevard in the news, and they shoot him like 35 times with bean bags,
Oh,
and he still wouldn't stop. He just kept going. He
Yeah.
wasn't gonna hurt them.
yeah.
He just kept going. He wanted to die. He
Yeah.
wanted them to kill him. He was the strongest dude I ever met in my life. This guy was a beast.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, these the things from the base. Jeremiah Day was the strongest dude I ever met in my life, and then they shot him 35 times. And that was like the sad part. Like his mom, like, why do you shoot him that many times?
Oh,
But
dude.
in their defense, he's a beast.
Yeah. Yeah.
You couldn't put him down.
Yeah.
I know because I fought him about 7 or 8 times at parties. I lost every time. Not even close. Like I get 1 or 2 swings in, dude. I think this is it. And then he'd roll me up, dude, put me in some jiu-jitsu hole and smash my head against the ground for a little bit. He's like, "Are you done? Are you done?" I'd be like, "Never." You know what I mean? A couple of times he let me get up, and I feel like a minute go by, and I just my ego, like all the girls are watching,
Yeah.
and I'll just freaking look at him and just charge him, and he'd pick me up as I charge him. And then he's like, "I love you, buddy. Why do you keep doing this?"
But that's like kind of a movie.
It is, dude. It was crazy.
That's funny.
The whole thing was just nuts, dude. I was like, those were the teenage years, man. That's how it was for 3 years, just like that.
Did mom love Jeremiah?
Yeah, she took care of my. She knew the story. She met. We were all hanging out. We all lived together when I met your mom. It was me, Jeremiah. I was sober now. I just smoked pot at that point. I went full weed like at 18. I sold weed. I smoked weed. I worked with my grandpa for a year. Then I went to Camp Pendleton for 3 months. After I got sober from the meth, I went to Camp Pendleton for 3 months. Made like $30 an hour.
Yeah, it's good.
I had like 6,000 in the bank, and I was retired.
Yeah.
18 years old, and everyone asked me. They would ask me, "What do you work?" Oh, no, I'm retired. I would tell them that. Seriously.
Why?
18.
6,000. That's it.
6,000. I had no bills, dude. Moved in with Jeremiah,
Yeah.
John McHugh, this dude Trevor Michaels, and so Trevor and John had a room upstairs. 1, 2, and there was our bedroom. Now there's 3 bedrooms, but me and Jeremiah. Now I'm sober. He still dabbled wherever he did his thing.
Yeah.
I just smoked. So because back then we would do 7 days on. We do 7 days of meth and then 7 days of smoking weed, eating all my grandpa's food at Costco. My grandpa would say, he's like, "Are you coming home?" "Yeah." "Is Jeremiah coming with you?" "No, Grandpa, he's not coming." And then Jeremiah would come. "This fucking guy's with you again." He eats everything. He would just eat, dude. He'd eat the whole kitchen. So I'd call my grandpa. We'd be at Jeremiah's house, and I'd call Dave. "Dave, did Grandpa go to Costco yet?"
Yeah.
"Oh, he just left." Okay. Dude, your grandpa just went to Costco. So we go straight over the house and bring money to Costco, dude. And we would tear it apart, bro. We would tear the Costco to
Now they have
pieces,
milk 3 years old.
and they lived in Spring Valley, my grandpa. So it was like 30 miles away from all our friends. So we could just go there and recuperate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Recuperate, smoke and eat, go to the beach.
You know what I mean?
Dude, it was too much, dude.
Recharge the bats.
You know.
All right, 7 in the morning. Good night.
All right, buddy, I love you.
I do.
Peace.
Can see anybody.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's part of the journey, bro.
That's
You know?
dude, that's so cool. Boy, it's so cool, like how I love hearing the old stories,
Those are the
war
dude.
stories. Because you made it out, dude. Jeremiah was right. You did.
No, I don't know how or why. I can't find any hats. So here we go. I don't know why or how it happened. Just the way they enter, you know.
But I think this is good. I think that's one of it.
Hold on, look what transcended into the group chat.
What is it?
So they're trying to wild arrow.
That's nasty. Dude. Get out of here. Oh my god.
You want to take a look, Joe?
I'm good. I got a piece of it.
So he, I love you, buddy.
All right, I love you.
All right, Joe.
Yeah, so I made it out. He'd say, he said, "You somehow the only one who made it out of we called it the box. As alcohol in Spanish is the box."
Yeah.
So
That's
it's
what I mean,
Santee to Tito Lakeside, and then the box is like the whole East County of the whole situation, dude. But I made it out.
And that's the wild part. Hearing that, because so many people wish they could,
Yeah.
and some people have the things in life that like organically stair-step them out. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
jobs or family responsibility, and it alleviates or adds a new necessity to get them out of what they are.
Yeah.
But some people either never have that, so there's no motivation, or even it's sad because some people get the responsibilities and still can't kick it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they can't. Dude, I have so many friends that couldn't kick it, and I've had like this dude Casey. He took his own life out in Florida.
That's heavy.
He grew up in it. There was like 3 of us. This dude Thomas Payne. I just recently he took his own life. We all grew up in the same circle. So Trevor Heck still left. Bobby Slaughter's there still left, but Thomas he was the one who started the tagging. We all tagged YPN, your property next.
Yeah.
It's great. I said other things too, but your property.
Yeah.
Other things we use whatever for, but you can imagine. it was the days, dude. You know what I mean? But yeah, these guys. There's some in jail. There's some blonde sheriff made it out, Santee, but he only made it just like the Santo, like the next road outside of Tierra Santa.
Yeah.
He still goes back, but he went Jesus route always. Virgin City is
He still lives like
he's like right
he's in
close.
there.
He's still right there, but he's freaking. He made it.
Well, and you know what's crazy is you hear like in like I'm thinking of like rap songs, like rap culture, of like some people the only way they have the only way they can get out of it is, like either rapping or like sports. Like that's the generalistic
Yeah.
reason of how they get out. But it's crazy because it's like you made it out. Like you're, I mean, obviously God's favor in your life. So like, dude, that's a wild story. To have been in it, and because that's what's they say you are the meeting of your 4 closest friends. But look at your 4 closest friends.
I know, dude.
Like it's like some like how getting drafted changes your life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like that's what you have.
And I think I got drafted on Jesus' team, dude. I was 19.
You got
And
grafted.
got grafted in.
Yeah.
Like Jacqueline got pregnant with Kirsten.
Yeah.
And then we moved to my grandma because I was living with Jeremiah, John, and Trevor. We were all in this apartment in Lakeside, in El Cajon, actually, right in the corner on Bradley. And me and Jeremiah had got the bedroom downstairs, the master.
Yeah.
And we split the room.
Yeah.
So what happened is John and Jeremiah, they're like, no, we need to split it 3 ways.
Yeah.
And or 3 ways? 4 ways. I'm like, no. We're gonna split our third. Like we're gonna pay less than you guys. We're sharing a room.
Yeah.
And then Jeremiah had said we wouldn't pay any electricity
Yeah.
or phones. And Jeremiah would be like, why aren't you pitching in? We don't use electricity and we have our own phones. Like we're not paying this stuff. That's how we did it there at the house, dude. And then all we had was protein. We back then all we did was keto or whatever. We just did protein, like beef jerky.
Before it was cool.
Before it was sausage, eggs.
Yeah.
Jeremiah was like, we don't eat carbs. He would tell everybody.
Oh, really?
And all John would have is top ramen. That's all John would have. And so Jeremiah told him that's why he's not in good shape. So he eats carbs. We don't eat. If we do eat, it's protein.
Dude, before it was keto.
We had a waterbed, dude. That was great. We sat in the waterbed together. No one, we gave one bit, but we were just crashed out, laying the opposite ways. The 2 hours a week that we slept. Oh my God. That's when I met Jacqueline. I met her one day. Me and the neighbor were driving down the street in a big lifted truck. She saw me, her friend saw me. I said, hey, pull over.
Yeah.
And then, hey, you guys want to go back to the house?
Yeah.
Sure, we'll follow you guys.
Yeah.
They bring me back to the house.
Yeah.
And we just left like a weed house to get a bunch of weed.
Yeah.
We go back. I've got weed all over the bed. I'm making 20 bags. I'm
Yeah.
making freaking ounces and stuff to get ready. Jacqueline and her friend, they're scared of them. And they're like 16, we're 18.
Yeah.
And but she had a little crush on me.
Yeah.
So we started hanging out right away. And from that point on,
That's how
it started. Was in the truck.
Really?
And then she came to the house.
Really?
And then and I just liked her. I probably at the time I probably had 4 or 5 girlfriends, but I would never date a girl longer than 3 weeks because I don't ever get hurt, right? So once I felt like I liked them, I just break up with them. I would just stop seeing them. What I usually would do is I start going out with one of their friends instead of breaking up with them. I'm just like, that wasn't the best guy when it came to that kind of stuff.
Well, you were young.
But I was young and I was cute and I was in
one
really
way to
good
do
shape and all the girls liked me. So and I was fat. From 11 to 16, I was chubby and no girls liked me. So then once I got lean, my life changed,
And
I took full advantage.
You
boys.
found the algorithm.
I did. I found the algorithm. But she got pregnant. So right away, I remember she got pregnant. I was dating this girl, Candy. I was dating this girl, Tanya, Brittany, and then some other girl. And Sasha, Sasha Walker. Girl. So then I took one girl to the other girl's house. I don't know why I couldn't just call them and say, hey, listen, my girlfriend's having a baby.
Yeah,
It's like, hey, there you go. Instead, I took them all to the same party. So they could all realize. And I said, I want you guys all to know, you guys all be friends now. We can't date anymore. My girlfriend's pregnant over here, and I'm going to be a dad. So I'm going to be a dad now. So
you brought them all together.
They all hanging out. And then Jason Outlaw, if Jason Outlaw's watching this, he knows because he was very thankful that I walked away because he got to end up hanging out. He's one of those three. He's like, man, my life's changed. Joey's gone. He got to be the A-boy, So we moved my grandma. And my grandma says, if you're living in my house, you got to go to church. And you got to speak in tongues, she said.
Oh, buddy.
Right? So we go to church, raise my hand. Pastor Leo he's talking about Hawaiian fern in his message. I used to be a pothead.
Yeah.
I was in for that.
Yeah.
Rose my hand. And dude, God has started doing all kinds of crazy stuff. At that point, I went all in, and then He just started blessing me. Like the day I rose my hand, like everything, my work, I just started making more money. I started these blessings. Somebody gave us our first car because I looked like her son.
Really?
I went to go buy a Bronco off some lady.
Yeah.
I gave her like $500, and I was like, give her $200 a month for 10 months. And then she said, after the second payment, you look at my son, you can just have the car.
Oh
Like,
wow.
all those little nuggets my whole life, dude, just kept like just blessing us. But I rose my hand, you know.
That's where
All my
started.
friends stayed back, and I said, I'm leaving. You know, I'm going the Jesus route. I'm
That's
gonna be a dad.
crazy, dude. And this is what's crazy to me is it's like so many people like either don't have like it. The crazy thing is you made up your mind and stuck to it, and then everything else from there, like your life took off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's what I made up my mind. I stuck to it. I had lost Samuel because I had a son 3 years earlier with Maria, this girl Maria, and then she put up for adoption because we were on bad kids. And then I thought, I'm not doing that again. I'm not gonna lose that.
Yeah.
You know.
So it's like you made that decision.
Yeah, I leaped, dude.
That's wild, man. That's a crazy story.
And I got my first studio, and then it's like, then I talked myself into being apartment managers.
Did you?
Yeah.
Really?
Some place had an ad in the paper for apartment manager.
Yeah.
So I called him and said, yeah, I'd like to be an apartment manager. Oh, do you have any experience? Oh, yeah, my mom manages Bradley Arms in Al Cajon.
Yeah.
I grew up there. None of it was true.
Yeah.
But like, it worked. You know, maybe the manager.
Did you say that?
Told him that. As I told him,
Dude,
Frank Abagnale to the moon.
Frank
you know what I mean?
Abagnale, dude. That's what I was thinking when he said that.
I can manage your apartment. Yeah, my mom manages Bradley Arms. You should call down there. You know, check her out.
Did you?
No, they didn't call. I just wrote her name down. And I wrote probably a fake number.
That's wild.
My mom was managing Bradley Arms. She hadn't slept for about a month in Bradley Arms while her husband went dumpster diving to beat up me. But AKA managed.
Wait, so she was the manager?
No, she lived there and she was on meth for every day. So just it was like a joke. You know what I mean? I said she's the manager. I just made it up. But I became manager, and then I got a house. Every little thing just kept like just dropping on my plate, dude. It was crazy.
It's so cool to see, like, good things happen to good people because it doesn't always,
Mhm.
and we like to think it does.
Yeah.
But like in your case, you did the right thing, and then it was like, bink, bink, bink,
That's how
bink,
it was.
bink.
And all the messages, goodness and mercy will follow you all the days of your life. And that was one of the messages when I was like 20, 21. Psalm 2, Psalm 27, this guy like tied it all together. And then Leo would just preach about like packing the kids up in jammies on Sunday nights, get them here, you know. And I just did it, dude.
You just kept. It was like you just kept doing the next thing they said to do.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? All the way up from where you were.
yeah.
That's pretty wild, man.
It was
Did
so
you ever
cool.
at any point look back and think, "Oh shit, look what I've done"?
You know, I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
And in it, my drive was just like to be better. So I didn't think I was doing good enough.
Wow.
In it, I would look at like Kirk.
Yeah.
When I met him, and like, oh, I can do that.
Wow.
He can do that. I can do that. This guy had like a Hummer and a Viper, and then I hung out with him a few times, and I was like, he's not that smart, really. Like, he had no street smarts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, and not that much. He had some book smarts, but he just could hustle in the trucking company. And then I saw these guys that were doing good, and I realized I always thought I could do better. That was like my thing. In construction, I saw the guys that were the builders, showed them flip flops on the job site. Well, dude, you're wearing flip flops on the job site? I just couldn't handle it. So I thought, I'm going to build houses, and I can do better than these guys. Even though I had no idea how to build a house,
Yeah.
I just figured I could do it better.
That you know one thing I really admire about you is like you're always because like that's why I asked did you ever look back at like where it was, because even when your life is going not ideal like these last few years,
Yeah.
like you're still like stuck in today.
Yeah.
Like, you're so grateful for today, or you're like
Yeah.
you know, like because you know some people will things will go bad and they'll dip back and
Right.
like you've never used any of
What-
like your story,
Right.
you know what I mean, to like handicap you today, or like my life is bad today because like you know when I grew up.
Well, the only
They
time
don't
that
do that. I
well,
think
the-
that's really cool.
Well, I did it that one time. So the only time I did that was that one moment, like after the divorce happened and it set in, and like and there was no way for her to come back. I begged her to come back. I bought her a new house. Said like, we have 4 kids. Like, there's no way we can get through a divorce. Whatever, you hung out with the wrong guy. Whatever, that I did something. Who cares? Like, we're forgiven. We both messed up. Like, we have these kids. Let's do it. And there was no way to get her back. She was already gone with this other dude living there and like telling me she hated me. She was in love with him, love of her life. So at that point is when I looked back for that 4 months.
How far back did you go?
I went back probably just like the 3 or 4 years leading up to that point, because she had like told me she wanted counseling and she didn't feel happy.
Oh, but you didn't go back to like the
No.
I was the kid that like. See,
No.
that's
Wait a second.
impressive.
Wait, you're right. No, I went back. That's why I was so sad. Actually, you're right. So looking back, the biggest pain was me, what everyone else thought. Like, I was the kid that made it. I was the one kid who's married, 18 years, 4 kids, owned a house, built a business. I made it out of the freaking box. I had all this favor on my life. God gave me so much. So the biggest pain wasn't really the divorce itself, like with her, because we were never the Notebook, really. Like, you know, sad to say, but like we had kids and we stuck it out, and we were church people, and we're supposed to stay together no matter what. So we did as long as we could. So I mean, make some kudos for that, I think. But yeah, that's when I looked back in that moment. Was going, how could I freaking like let that happen? You know? Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, totally. The thing that's impressive though is like some cycles repeat themselves. Obviously, you broke out of that cycle.
Yeah.
You know, but to have come out of the craziness that was your life, you know, and when you're a kid, when you don't know it's any different.
Right.
It's this is just your life, and so it's natural, it's comfortable. But like, you know, you go all these years, everything's good. You know, you've made, you know, huge life for everything's awesome. Yeah. The divorce isn't, you know, awesome, but to not regress to the Joey that was in Santee.
Right.
That's the thing that's impressive.
I felt so bad that's why I went so depressed. Because I didn't think I could look anybody in the face, because the way it looked, like I failed. Like I won and I successfully, everywhere I went for 18 years, I was like, oh my God, this guy made it. Oh my God, this guy did it. Oh my God, he has a family. He made it out of alcohol. He bought a house. So that feeling of like, the feeling of like my whole life's goal was to have what I had. That's what sucked. I always want to live in a cul-de-sac. I always want to pull a double slide. I always wanted a basketball court. And I had all those things. I had trampoline in the ground.
Yeah.
I had the best neighbors in the world.
Yeah.
Like we had, Troy was there, brother Al was there, crazy Brian, military dude, just screaming his wife all night long. Every night, me and Al would be sitting there, Brian would be going off on his wife. Megan, fuck! Like every night, you know what I mean? So like we would just die, dude, in the driveway. We all hung out. We all hung out, dude. It was a great little cul-de-sac. I dressed up as Santa Claus one year, took all the kids freaking gifts, you know what I mean? And it was so cool. So the feeling of that being gone,
American
and
dream.
Me selling the house, and realizing I couldn't go back, and just like being the failure. I felt like such a failure, and I would call Lon all the time. And sometimes I failed, like I didn't make it. Now I'm the guy who didn't make it. And I would call him. I'd take Ambien to try to sleep. I didn't sleep for 4 months, dude. Didn't sleep for 4 months. And I'd call Lon all the time. I'm like, dude, I can't sleep, and I did this and I did that, and I'd call him. I would tell him, I don't think I'm gonna keep doing this life. You know what I mean? And he's like, what are you talking about? I said, well, I just don't know how I'm gonna get out of this hole. I was in this dark. I was in the bottom of like a well, and just trying to pull myself up, and it was so dark. And Randy would come to my house with Claudia, and he would say, you gotta stick this out one day at a time. Day by day by day, you have to get up. Claudia said, you have to go to the gym. At this point, I couldn't do it. So then once they realized I couldn't do it, like him and Julie took me to mental hospital. I said to them, they said, tell us what you told me and Lon. I said, well, I don't want to live anymore. I can't be this person. I can't believe I failed. I can't believe I didn't have this house. I can't look my kids in the face being this failure that I was. and losing my family. I couldn't do it. I couldn't get her back. So it was the first time in my life that I couldn't get what I wanted. Always got what I wanted, and I always won.
Interesting.
I always have won. I've always got every single thing that I've wanted and prayed for manifested. I got every time my entire life.
Yeah.
If I had a crush on a girl when I was a kid, I'd end up dating her. If I wanted a car, I'd buy it. If I wanted whatever I wanted to build a house, I built a big house in Poway. You know, I wanted to do announcements, I got to do announcements at church. Like whatever I put my mind to, I would eventually do. So the fact that I couldn't get her back and that I lost, it was the loss, and then it is all like this big entangled web. So I got back from 5150, and then like eventually, you know, Randy every day. Then I went and stayed with Claudia, and not Claudia, with Clyde, who went to her birthday today, and Julie and Jeremy, and they this like I stayed for 2 months, dude. After my 5150, and they gave me a medication every day. Jacqueline was already gone. Like she was telling Debbie that she was going to get my kids full time, and they were all trying to get this plan to get my kids, and I just knew I couldn't. And Jeremy would say, "You're not going to fucking get my shit, customer share. We edit that. You're not going to give up. You're going to stick this out day by day. You're going to win your kids, and you're going to stay by day." As they all told me, Randy, like 1 day at a time, dude. And then Claudia said, "Just get back in the gym. What do you love to do more than anything in the world? You love to work out. Go to the gym." And I remember the first time I went to the gym, dude, I was like, I put 45s on. I couldn't do it once. I was like 170. I barely ate for 4 months, and I couldn't do it one time. But eventually, me and Joe kept working out. Joe just worked on me, and I got the 275, 6 times an incline. Because I got there 1 day at a time. It took me months, took me years, you know? So it was dark. It was the darkest moment of my life. That's the only time I lost.
Well, that's it's interesting. You can see where it definitely was. That's a hardship for anybody. That sucks for anybody.
Yeah.
Like the life and the life that you know, and the family that you know, when things get altered and change, you weren't expecting it. And it's like that mixed with, like you said, you always won. And it was like both of those things that you worked so hard for, but then you always won. Like it was like they were combined, like at the same time.
The perfect storm.
You know?
It was the perfect storm.
Wow, dude, it's so inspiring to hear about people and like hear stories where it's not like a made up story. Like it's not like, you know, this was the bad thing that happened to me, but it's like, was it really that bad?
Yeah.
You know, like it's because I think a hardship is something where if you could, you would trade it over everything.
Yeah.
It's like anything but this, not this.
Yeah.
Like I don't want this one. And then it's in that place where you're like, oh,
wow,
this is life. Like I can't, because there's some things where it's like, first world problems, or it's like it's not ideal, but when it's like, you know, the heavy hitters are the two worst things you can imagine.
Dude, it was
like combined, and you went through it and made it out.
I couldn't remember dealing with a basketball court on the street that Eric and Rachel ended up buying the house, which was pretty cool that they didn't get in it. But Isaac's there in the house, my nephew. But I deal him off with basketball, and I'd be in bed, dude. And I hang out of bed for 3 months. And I was looking in the mirror, and I just cried. I was like, they were gonna be happy again, and they're gonna find a girl like me again. It's over forever. And he was, "Please dive with basketball," and I just couldn't get up, dude. And one day I went out there, and I pulled myself up, and like the pain to get up was like it was so hard.
Wow.
And I tried to shoot the baskets, and like I probably shot 3 baskets, and I turned around and walked up in my bed, laid back down, and he cried, "Yeah, why can't you play basketball with me?" I was like, "I'm sorry, buddy, I'm sick.
Yeah.
But I just can't get out of bed." You were sick for 4 months, he said.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah.
So it was tough.
Dang, dude, that's real life, man.
It was tough, bro.
That's real.
So I can't let that happen again. You know, so I gotta be positive and go full Jesus.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't at that point. But at that, I wasn't full of Jesus. I mean, I still had forgiveness, and I had righteousness, and I had no condemnation, but I had like,
that's the thing about faith. Like people of faith, it's like, I think sometimes the narrative what we hear is it's like, this was my struggle, and you're like, really? That? Like, you lost your job?
yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? Like you had money set aside. You were in limbo for a couple months. I mean, that's horrible.
Right.
But it's like there's something about when you hear a story like your story where you're like, holy shit. Like to have made it out the first time. Oh, you know what I mean? That's a miracle in itself.
Yeah.
And then where life dealt its cards again, you know what I mean? To like the same kid who should have made it out,
Right.
and you made it out of that one
I
too.
mean, that one too, and I
That's
made
so
it,
awesome, man.
and I made it
So proud
abundantly
of
out,
you, dude.
abundantly more ever dream or
Yeah.
imagine. Like
Yeah.
I've been given more since then,
Mm.
and it not financially, but like mentally and physically.
Yeah.
Well, physically too, but like mentally,
Mm.
I haven't because I've been in some wrong relationships that I wasn't equally yoked with. I didn't know my number. I just was physically attracted to people. So now it's been 5 years, and I'm back to square one,
Amen, buddy.
which is good, dude.
Yeah.
I think it's going to take me. Randy told me it would take me about 4 or 5 years to get through it, and I was like, no way.
Yeah.
And he was right.
Yeah.
He was married for 18 years.
Yeah.
So it's like he said a year per 4, something like that, to really
Mm.
like get on the other side of the pain and the understanding and the acceptance
Mm.
of it, because he was in jail for a lot. I thought to all these guys about that.
Yeah.
It took so many years. It does for trauma to like really get replaced. Then
Get on the
EMDR
other
therapy.
side of that.
Then EMDR therapy and learning like what I want in this life. So I kept making bad decisions, and now thank God I got grace
Mm.
and favor, my 2 favorite things.
Dude, that's a phenomenal
Grace
story,
and
man.
favor.
Amen, dude.
That's the
Way
book title.
too, dude. And this is the thing too. You're talking about grace and favor, but somebody who's made it out of really 2 really like impossible, like if you made it and like worked at a gas station, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that would have been making it out.
Even lows are on people.
Yeah, nothing wrong with those,
Yeah.
man. But you went on to do, successful things and you know, big things that help not just you but other people,
Yeah.
people you employed, like people around you, and so it's I think it's inspiring, man, because like again, I just think about you hear people and their struggles. At least maybe it's just me, but I'm like, really, that a struggle?
Yeah.
But then hearing your story is like, no, that's just like that. No, I don't know anybody that would want that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like to be in that dark place.
But I think through
You
that,
made it through.
and then through that, he's opened up so many cool opportunities. So for me, I'm gonna say like and I have to in therapy. I'm glad I went through that.
Well, that's what I was gonna
positive part.
say.
It's like,
You're
I'm
positive
thankful
through it,
that I did
dude.
that, because through that, if I got so much wisdom and had so many opportunities, now opportunities are coming my way. Like when I tell my story now
So
lately,
positive through it.
everyone that I tell to really thinks it inspires them, and like they love it. And now, currently I got to do things to blossom that and show that I am going full Jesus.
Yeah.
Which is
It's all
hard.
part of the process.
It is part of the
But dude, the
process.
fact that you stay like positive, that for me, that's like the kicker to the story, because you like, I feel like sometimes people tell their stories and it's like a backhanded compliment or an Indian gift,
Yeah.
and they always use nothing wrong, but they always use their hardship, and they bring it back, in conversation over and over again, and there's nothing wrong with that,
No.
But the thing about you is you don't talk about it. You know what I mean?
I try not to.
Like it's and it's not that you hide it. It's not that but it's like your life is so good. You're so positive. You're so moving forward with everything that's cool. That's just behind you. Like you don't mind talking about it,
Mhm.
but that's the cool part for me. It's like it's awesome, man.
It's a wild story, I think.
It is. It's freaking crazy.
To me, it's just normal. To me-
Right. No, and that
to me,
yeah.
But when I tell it, it's
Yeah.
wild. But to me, the strongest part right now for me is like I've met some good pastors in my life who are guiding me to like restrain from like, physical connection with ladies in my life right now, which is tough. You know what I mean? I wasn't built for that. That's why I'm gonna get married within 3 to 4 months. 100%. So even if it's just for a season, I'm to the point now. Like the boy Judah just finished talking about if he gets divorced or his wife passed away 3 or 4 months to get remarried. I'm not like for the past 2 years, I have to be this perfect person to meet the one for the rest of my life. well, God showed me there's seasons.
Yeah.
And hopefully I meet the one who's be forever.
Yeah.
But I could be with the perfect lady and for 3 years and she could get some disease or anything could happen. One was hit by a bus or something could happen.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't want to keep living like this because I can't. I know my number, dude. I can't go too long like this. I'm going to try and go 3 or 4 months. I'm going to try and I may get married next week just because the strength, dude. I can't endure this pain. But like, I'm doing it today.
Yeah.
I've done it for the past 7 days.
Mhm.
7 to 10 days. I've refrained. And like, I remember I was at a men's Bible study. I was at a men's Bible study one night, and I was sitting there, and they were going through this. They were going like the 7 Pillars book, I think it's called, or like the sexual sin, or like the men with the sin, or the men that they. And we were in this room, and all the guys had a problem, and most of their problems were pornography.
Mm. So
So they all talked about it, and then for me, I didn't have a problem with that really. You know, and when I'm sure I looked at a couple pictures of my 30s a couple times. I was like, okay, cool, but I never was like, oh my god, like to me, it's not real. You know,
Yeah.
to me, just paper.
Yeah.
So I just looked at them and like sat there, and I could see their brains, and so I spoke, and I told them, I said, well, the problem here is you guys, you know, you're not happy with yourselves or your wives, and these guys were all kind of like just regular dudes, and so they were trying, and they wanted that in their mind.
Mhm.
And I told them all, like, I stood up, I said, you guys all need to focus on loving your wives more, because I lost my wife, right?
Mhm.
It had been like 3 years since my divorce, and I was back and forth to Center Point. And I had been with like Michelle, beautiful cowgirl. I had some beautiful girlfriends for seasons. I had some one night stands, even with some dimes.
Mhm.
And I told them, and they're like, God, I was listening, guys. This pornography that you guys search for, these things that you want, is more empty than anything you know. And I'm going to tell you, because and it was crazy that I said this to them, but I've done this. God's gave me the opportunity, or not God, probably, but somehow I had the opportunity to do those things, and it was orchestrated for me to learn, I guess, and maybe it tells people about, but it was empty. And I said, all you guys that leave here, don't focus on getting better with porn. Don't focus on not looking at porn. Focus on loving your wife like Christ loves the church. So I told him. And how does Christ love the church, dude? Unconditionally, without cease, dude, with all of him. He loves his bride so much that he died on the cross for us, and he gave his life. And he continually restores it every day. He continually renews it. He loves us so much that no matter what we do today, we will reap what we sow. We're gonna cause ourselves some strife. We're gonna have mental pain. We may get broke. We may end up on the streets for a month. We'll reap what we still has us in his kingdom, and we're still forgiven. I told him all that. I don't know if anyone I spoke to him, if it worked at all, but I told him, like, I've done it, and I would trade it in for a second to go back and to have that life, you know? I told those guys, dude, it sounded like to school time, but it wasn't.
No.
Even like right now, I'm gonna tell you right now, like, I stopped seeing someone in my life who I could call right now and go hang out. Beautiful. Dream for 99% of men in the world would all be a dream to do this, but I'm trying not to. I'm trying, like, God, I want more than that. I don't want just I want like the real thing. I want the Notebook, you know?
Yeah.
I'm a lover, dude. And I just want to be in love.
Amen.
So it's like, I'm going to try this, because these pastors keep telling me about this. These guys, God's orchestrated in my life to like restrain, look for this. Now they're like 6 months to a year. I know my number. I don't got 6 months to a year, dude. God can come back in 3 months. I want to have sex before God goes back. So I'm going to come meet him. I'm like, Lord, I'm going to get married before you come back, dude. We're going to race, buddy.
Yeah.
And I'm going to win. I got a fast turbo out there, dude. I got a spaceship. I'm going right to Vegas. And I might stop in Arizona with this guy. You're going to go straight to the freaking moon, dude. Straight to the moon.
Dude, Jesus, come back.
I'm calling this. I'm manifesting this right now that in 3 to 4 months, I'm going to be married. This guy's going to be married. And we're not going to look back. You know?
Amen.
We're not going to look back, dude. We're going to have hotels in Tampa or wherever we're going to be, Chicago. And you may not see us on one of the days. We may not leave our rooms for one of the days. And it might be the main day. I get a call, hey, you're going to speak in Charlotte. Well, I can't do it. I got a stomach ailment. Can you go do it real quick? You know, can you go speak? Who knows what's going to happen? I don't know.
We don't know.
I just know that I'm blessed, dude. I'm thankful.
Dude, day one, man.
Day one, like never before, dude.
That was my favorite one, bro. That was my favorite one, buddy.
I doesn't get more real than that, dude.
That's the sauce right there, buddy.